The number one question that I get when people see my grill is how do you keep the glass on the front clean? Because you know that it's going to get dirty. And after several months, the inside has a lot of grease splatters, but the window is just starting to get a little bit hazy to the point where you can't see the food. It's easy enough to clean. I'm going to show you how to do it. You probably have most of the things that you need. A good degreaser goes a long way. This is Simple Green. I like it because it's non-toxic. If you want to go all natural, vinegar works well too. I also use baking soda and some dish soap, and that's gonna get the rest of it off and act as a good abrasive. Let's get into it. The first step is take some of that vinegar or your degreaser and just spray down the front. We're gonna spray it both on the inside and the outside. That's gonna get that grease that hasn't solidified or burnt on yet. We're gonna get it off so that way we can get to the good stuff. With that top layer of grease out of the way, we're gonna mix a paste using our baking soda and some basic dish soap. I have about a quarter cup here, and I'm only gonna add enough dish soap to make a pretty good paste. One of the great things about this is it's going to be just barely abrasive, but if you've ever messed around with baking soda, you know that it still feels pretty soft, so it's gonna give us just a little bit of grit that won't scratch the glass. And if baking soda and dish soap isn't quite enough, you can always use something like a plastic headlight restorer. It has a little bit more grit, and that'll get you going. I added just enough dish soap to the baking soda so that way it looks and feels a lot like toothpaste or some really thick icing. I'm gonna use that on a sponge and we're gonna rub it all over the glass and let it sit for just a little bit. So on this outside, after maybe 30 seconds or a minute, you could feel it going from gritty to feeling pretty smooth. It goes and slides around really nice. And that tells me that I've taken off all that layer of grease. I'm gonna let this sit while we do the inside. And here's a bonus tip while I'm scrubbing that down. I always keep some of that baking soda and dish soap mixture around because if you ever get grease on your clothes while you're grilling, you can make that paste and rub it into your clothes, let it sit for a while, and it gets out those grease stains as well. Not only that, you can use it on the front of your grill and it gets it nice and clean. And if it's been a while since you've cleaned the glass, it's gonna take quite a bit of elbow grease to be able to get that off. But when you think you're in a good spot, just take some of that vinegar and spray it down. That'll get the baking soda off. We're gonna wipe it all off and see how we're doing. Once you've got it good and clean, you can rinse it off with some water, either from the hose or out of a pitcher, and that should get it just about great. Go ahead and fire up the grill to warm everything up and make sure that it's dry. If you're wondering how often you should do this, it's a good idea to do it every time you fill up the grease tray and have to empty it. But the more often you clean this glass, the easier it's going to be. You might be able to just wipe it down every couple of cooks, and then you'll never have to do it at all. But that's just one of the first steps. You should check out this video where I go over a deep dive of how to keep your grill super clean so it lasts a long time.